Okay, it started. What time is it? Oh, wow. Cutting it close. I am excited about this one today.
Good. I can't wait.
That's as fast as a human being can eat. Here we are. Watch this video on your TV. Oh, hello. Hey, people are here. Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Put your glasses on. Good afternoon. Hello, Luana. Hello, Heather and Mary Lou. Hey, Chris. Good to see you. I miss you. Hello, Linda. Linda Tracy Stevens. I know you. Hi, Genevieve. Hi, Owen and Maxwell. Father Joe loves you. Jillian from Highland. Jillian from Highland. Andrew and Carla. Glenn. Good to see you guys. Shannon with the voice of an angel. And hello, Elizabeth. It's good to see you, too. Mike Singer. Good to see you, Michael. Power to the Polish people. Way to go, Florida. How's the weather down there, Andrew? Is this a good time of year? Well, I think every time. Anyway, hey, Kevin. Hey, Kristen. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Peggy. I'm writing these songs to welcome all of you. Teresa from Kalamazoo. See how I did it? Hey, Joan. Good to see you. Hello, Jerry. I'm so blessed all of you have tuned in. Guys, oh, Doc Lee. Guys, Doc Lee is an amazing musician. Hey, Scott. Good to see you. Hey, Bren. Nice to see you as well. Yeah, I'm backwards again because that option that allowed us to reverse it is gone.
It seems to have a filter.
It seems to have a filter. I don't know what that means.
That.
Oh, that's a mint, Becky. See? Hello, Jenny. Hey, Loretta. It's good to see all of you wonderful people. If you don't mind, what I'm going to do is start right off with, oh, Steve Poole. Oh, my gosh. Steve and I used to go fishing for salmon. I would love that. Richard from England. Or from the UK. I can't remember. Anyway, I don't know what you're supposed to say there. Please say a prayer for my mom. Oh, Jesus bless your mom. Jesus bless her and get her home. Way to go, New York. Way to go, New York. 90 degrees here. Andrew, last night it was 33 degrees here in sunny Michigan. And right now it's 50. So that's, oh, Madeline. Oh my gosh, I miss you. Joyce. Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm not saying hi, but what I got to do is get right after it today. We got all kinds of crazy news. Are you guys ready for this? So first of all, let's look at the Joe in Black. First, let's look at what's important, the beer. Okay, what's going on with our beer? Well, a few things. First, the good news. On Friday, we're going to do a live show like usual. But this time, we will be in the brewery itself. Okay? And now, to be clear, Lansing Brewing Company is not open. And it's not a chance for you to see it live. I'm so sorry. We will set something like that up. Okay? But what Lansing Brewing Company is doing is setting aside a private room. They've set up all the health precautions, and we will be able to have just the little team here of Carrie and Dad and I and maybe Nuja if he can get out of prison in time. And we will use that time to do our live show at noon, and it might be a long one. We're ready to go as long as it takes. What we've been doing is keeping your questions that I haven't been able to answer. And what I'm going to do then is on Friday, live at the brewery, our show here will just be me answering the questions we've got. Okay? Some of them. I'm not going to answer all of them. So don't hesitate as we start working through this to type up the questions you want me to go after on Friday. I obviously won't get to all of them, but I'll get to the most I can, right? So now here's the thing, guys. You may remember that yesterday we said that they're going to pre-order the beer on their Facebook page. I think I said website, but it should have been their Facebook page. Yeah. Guys, they're almost out. I'm not kidding. I got a shocked text. Oh, you mean like this t-shirt? This t-shirt right here? What? Look at that. All right. So, did you see that? Those shirts will be for sale, as well as all of their other beers. It will be a drive-through service. Again, we can't stop or get out or anything like that. But from 2 to 6, there will be a curbside pickup. They're limiting 6 per person. And guys, there's less than 300 left. And when these are gone, that beer's not coming out again for a while, right? They did not anticipate it, I think, moving this quickly. So, yeah, how's this? Here's what they said. We only have 300 of these crowlers left of the Joe and Black Ale, and once they're gone until next year. The first Joe and Black release sold out of 150 in 20 minutes. So they've got 300 left, less than 300 left. And if you want to go,
That's for pre-order.
For pre-order, okay? So check out their Facebook page if you want to pre-order and get after it. And again, there's no money on this. I'm not making any money or being paid to or anything like that. It's just, yeah, that's right, Kimberly. It's because of this, okay? This is the money maker. Because there are people who like beer. There's people who don't like beer. Everybody loves this. So, I think I've got us, and now we're going to start. But before we do, just a big thank you to all of you for watching this and for caring about it. I'm having such fun teaching and sharing with you what I know and what I've learned. It's such a blessing for us to take this time to grow, right? To grow in wisdom, to grow in knowledge. And please make sure, if you can, and share this show, right? Share it on your Facebook page. If you can invite people to come and watch, that would be so wonderful, and I would be grateful, okay? And with that in mind, as you know, we've spent, 4 or 5 sessions on the Bible, okay? And, of course, you know what? We could do this show forever just on the Bible. I did this in one of my parishes for 4 years. Once a week, I did an hour and a half on the Bible. We literally started in Genesis, and we went through. And after 4 years, we weren't finished. Okay? That's how packed the Bible is. But what we did, of course, was a super brief shoot through of the Bible. What we're going to do today, I'm really fired up about. This is one of my favorite topics, and it's one of those topics that is important for us to know, but it's easy for priests and bishops to accidentally overlook. What do I mean by that? Okay, Father John Riccardo put it best. I've been able to think of this phenomena, but not describe it as well as him. Okay, but here's how Father John Riccardo said it. Most of our evangelization efforts are geared toward working in a Christian society. But this is not a Christian society. And I don't mean that in the sense of, it's an awful and horrible. No, I love our country. I love our culture, right? We've got strengths, we got weaknesses like everybody else. But here's what we don't have. You were probably not raised with a solid grasp of the basics, okay? Why? Well, because the system was geared toward everyone being on the same page. Okay? It's hard to explain, but when my parents were growing up, and my dad tells me this, he says, when I was growing up, what we were taught in school was the same thing we were taught in church. Okay? That there is truth, that there are things, and that there are things that are right, there are things that are wrong, there are ideas that we are supposed to hold on to and ideas we're supposed to abandon. That the schools and the society and general structure of church were on the same page. That got lost. And it's not actually uncommon that what you're learning in schools is the exact opposite of what you're learning in church. Okay? I saw this over and over at MSU, right? That every year we lost kids, not to, booze and oh no, we did. But we lost, if you were a Catholic kid, I always said this, if you were a Catholic kid on a campus, okay, you had fundamentalists who hated you and sure you were going to hell. And were going to try to convert you into their church, which conveniently could get you to heaven. I don't know what everyone did before that church existed. They're probably doomed. You had atheists who hated you, right? They read that one book by Dawkins and now they knew a lot. And they couldn't wait to just jam that at you. You had, frankly, a pretty liberal Catholic staff who was mad at you if you weren't as liberal as they, and you had a conservative, religiously conservative student body who would get mad at you if you weren't as conservative as they are. It stunk to be Catholic in many ways. One student said this to me: there's nowhere I go that isn't hostile to what I believe. Isn't that something? Doesn't that break your heart? Okay? And we give them money to do this. Isn't that crazy? Hey, here's 5 digits of cash that this capitalist society has allowed me to make, and I'm giving it to you so you can turn my kid into a social.
Successful. I can.
Oh, Lord. Anyway, why am I saying this? Because all those basics that my mom and dad were raised with, that were just ingrained in them from day one, they're gone, man. And what we end up with is this whole idea of, I'm going to teach you step 10, even though you don't know step 1 through 9. It happens, and it happens a lot. Okay? Not only that, but here's the crazy part. When we reduce Christianity to don't do this and do that, well, we don't need any of that, right? We don't need any theology. We don't need any understanding. We just need to obey. But Jesus wants your heart and your brain. He wants both, okay? And when we understand both, it helps us to be a little more well-rounded in our understanding of the faith. This is a long intro, and I was going to say I'm sorry, but I'm not. Look at that beard shake. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Look at that. Okay, so let's start with this. You and I are human, right? And I think we all know that. But this is the crazy thing, okay? Have you ever actually stopped and thought, what does it mean that I'm human? What does that mean? And it's not a failing or a sin if you haven't, thought about it. But you're going to now, because this is really important. Imagine if I gave you a tool, right, and didn't tell you what it was for. You could carry it around and hope that if a situation came up, you would know what to do. But this is a case that's a little different than that. But similar, but different. What a horrible... Okay, I'm just going to stop that one right there. Here's what we got. If you're human and you don't know what it means to be human, then what are you? You're still a human, but you don't know what you are. And so we end up, I love y'all, saying weird things by accident. Okay, here's 2 extremes I hear. And I saw this a lot when I was in high school and college ministry. A student doing something that was animalistic, okay? And then saying what? Well, I'm only human. It's like, no, you weren't being human there. That was the problem. Okay, so that's one extreme. Ready for the other one? When somebody dies, we say, heaven gained another angel. No, they didn't. They gained another human. Humans and angels are 2 totally different creatures. So it's our misunderstanding of what it means to be human that I think you'll see might be why we so often misunderstand our faith. Or why we don't understand. Why does the church say don't do that? That seems silly to me. Well, maybe this will help. And if it doesn't help, it's your fault. Only humans can blame. So, as humans, if we don't know, and I'm still going with the intro, so sorry. Until we know what it is to be human, we can't be free. Right? Like, go back to the dog thing, right? The student who acted like an animal and said, well, I'm only human, right? That is a human who's not free. And they would, I'm sure, like to be free. But until they have an understanding of what it means to be human, they can't really experience joy, only happiness. And joy and happiness might sometimes look alike and sometimes not, but they are 2 different things, okay? Happy is a word that we get from the Old English word hap, okay? Hap. You got to pop the P. Did I ever do this with the naps? Did I tell them this? Was that on this show? So my folks took in a ton of people, right? 38 different people lived in my parents' house when I was growing up, right? People who needed help, blah, blah, blah. And there was one person who would say the P on the word nap. And I just found that to be ridiculously crazy, right? I've never forgot it. This is 30 years ago, right? So it'd be, well, I'm going to go take a nap. Can you hear that? A nap. I always said, I'm going to go take a nap. Right? How do you say it? Do you say nap?
No.
No. I've asked an expert. So anyway, every time now a word ends in P, I think of that. Isn't that weird? It's been like 30 years. Well, if you guys will excuse me, I'm going to go take a nap. Why don't you go take a nap? Why are we talking about naps? Oh, happy. From the English word hap. And what does that mean? Circumstance. That's where we get the word happen. The word happen and the word happy are rooted in the same word, hap. And why? Because the dog just ran in, which makes me happy, right? What does it mean to be happy? It means your circumstances prompted an involuntary emotion. My knucklehead dog ran in, so now I'm happy. Okay? That's what happy is. Happy is contingent on our circumstances, and it's usually an emotion we don't intend, or we don't dislike, it just happens. Okay? Happy. Now, what about, so that's happenstance, right? Happenstance is where we get the word circumstance. Okay? Focus. Sorry, I'm spacey today. Oh, joy. What is joy? Joy is not an emotion. Sometimes it can have emotion tied to it. But joy is a conviction. Joy is a certitude. And this feels really self-serving, okay? But if you saw my fireside chat yesterday, I was talking about how our construction site at the church is ugly. Yeah? Hello, mijo. If you go to our construction site right now, you won't go there because it's beautiful. You'll go there because it's going to be beautiful, right? You're going there because you know that however bad it looks now, it's all to make it look great someday. And that's joy. When I stand in the construction mess of the church, I don't feel happy. I don't feel sad. But I do feel joy because I know that however crazy it looks now, in just a few short years, in some time, we don't know it, it's going to be done. Okay? Does this help? Does that make sense to you? Humans who don't understand what it is to be human tend to be slaves to their feelings. They tend to be slaves to their impulses. Humans who understand what it is to be human experience joy. Now, they're sad sometimes. Right? Again, sad is an emotion. Happy is an emotion. You can't help our emotions, but we can help our convictions. Okay? So, we need to spend time on this because we were made to be human, and understanding what it means can help us. So, ready? Almost everything I'm going to teach you comes from reading John Paul II, St. John Paul II. I love saying that. You know, I don't know if you know this, he got to meet me one time. I love saying that backward. I always say, hey, I got to meet him. But every once in a while, just to be a smarty, I'll say, well, John Paul II got to meet me. We spent some time together. He asked my advice on some things. And whenever you're doing the macho voice, did I tell you about this, that you have to look like you're looking directly into the sun? Do you know this rule? No? Okay. Fellas, listen up. I'm going to help you here. Whenever you want to appear macho, and I don't know what this is, but somehow a key element is to appear as if you're looking directly in the sun. Okay? Ready? Do you see it?
I do.
Yeah. Kind of gaze heavenward, but as if you're looking into the sun. It's like David Putty. Feels like an Arby's night. So anyway, why am I telling you this? Because of St. John Paul II, and then one of my favorite teachers at seminary, Bishop Morlino, who went to be with the Lord just last year. Okay? Great teacher. Great. Joe Biden face? Yeah. I can't quite pull that off, but there is squinting involved. And Trump squints too. They all do. And I'm convinced it has some kind of alpha male thing, which, you know, I don't think I am. I would love to. Maybe I'm a beta male. What's a beta male? Is that a bad thing?
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, we don't know. Okay. Right. I can look in the dictionary. It's over there. Yeah, think of it. Clint Eastwood, right? John Wayne, all those guys, they were squinters. It's a key to macho. That, and you don't look at the explosions happening behind you as you walk away, right? In every great movie, every blow 'em up movie, when the good guy's walking away from the building he just blew up, he's not looking. He's just walking away. That was my Keanu Reeves voice. Okay, so everything I'm going to teach you, that ain't me. If it was me, I would draw stickmen and mumble. I got this from, to quote Sir Isaac Newton, I stood on the shoulders of giants, right? I stand on the shoulders of giants. Isn't that cool? So, are you ready? What's a human? Boy, that was a long intro. Holy cow. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah?
I think it's a couple of days.
Okay. Wait, I got to put this on. Oh, she says a beta male is a girly man. I don't think that's me. I don't know. How do you tell? I mean, I don't think I'm a girly man. But that's because I gaze into the sun.
I think the beard means...
Yeah, the beard probably negates it. Although if I start putting ribbons in it and flowers, I don't know. Okay, what is a human? You ready? Think of it this way. There are parts of you that are visible, and there are parts of you that are invisible. And honestly, I don't think that's hard to argue. Okay. Obviously, there are parts of us that are physical. We touch, we smell. Some of you, you know. We hear. We are physical. But we also understand that there are elements to us that are invisible. Okay? Oh, wait, don't put them on because then I can see the words and I'll get distracted. But I just think she said my buddy Mary popped in. Did Mary Busker pop in? Can you tell me? Because I love that chick. Okay. What were we talking about? Oh, so there are parts of you that are physical and visible, and there are parts of you that are invisible. Okay? Now, the invisible things in you, you express physically. What's an invisible element to you? Your love. Okay? Your love is a very strong part of you. You will lay down your physical for that invisible thing called love. Love has no shape or no form, but we express it physically. And that's important for us to remember. When we see that, you know, and I'm going quick, so tell me if I'm losing you. This is really important, that we all understand and agree that there are parts of me that people can see, that I can see. There are parts of me that people can't see and that I can't see, but that I express through physical means. So what we call that is a psychosomatic unity. Okay? This is from St. John Paul II. A psychosomatic unity. And what is it? When we say a psychosomatic unity, the first word psycho refers to the soul or the mind. Okay? It's interesting. You could look at it this way in super general. The Jews would say a soul, the Greeks would say a mind. So what does Christianity do? Soul or mind. And what is that? That's the invisible part of us that unifies and animates the visible. What do I mean unifies? Think of all the things. Look what I just did, right? And look at what's happening. There are things in my head that are not visible, but they move from there to my mouth, and I put them out. Okay, everything about that is invisible. And I'm even expressing it, look, and I'm not even Italian. I'm expressing it physically with my hands. Okay, that this is a really important thing for us to remember. There is something in us invisible that we do express. Our words, our thoughts, all these things. Now, the information I'm about to say is from 1995. So I don't know if it's still true. And I tried Googling it yesterday, but to no avail. I had a guy in seminary who was a brain surgeon, okay? And he told us, it's a funny thing. He says, you take the human brain, and they know what every part of it does. This part does this part does that. There's this thing that's called, I remember this, the pons that deals with dreaming. Oh wait, what was that movie with Bobby Boucher? Your medulla oblongata. Anyone remember this? Water boy, right? So all these different parts of our brains that do all these different things. So this brain surgeon was telling us, with all that, we have no clue what makes all those disparate parts work together. Yeah, we don't have any sense of that. And he said, and here's the proof. If your body dies and there was no brain damage, what changed? Why isn't your brain still working? Right? It's really fascinating to think about. And what he said is, he said, in my experience, I've never met a brain scientist who was an atheist, a total atheist. There were some variations of atheists. But what they recognize is there is an invisible quality to us. What some people said is, well, it will be visible someday. We'll figure it out. But he said, but nobody knows right now what it is that causes all of these functions from the top of my bald head to the bottom of my hairy feet. I just made that up. From the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. How is it that this all works together? There's a trillion things going on there. That's our soul. It's the invisible, okay, mijo. It's the invisible part of us that unites all of these disparate functions and animates them. And again, this is a little crude, and I'm so sorry. But if you take someone who dies from a non-violent means, everything's still there. Why isn't it working? And you or I could theoretically, and excuse me again, okay, I'm sorry, take all the parts from another human and put them all together and connect them just like they should be, but it won't start. Right? Why is that? Because there is an invisible quality to us. We all lose weight when we die, right? Which is part of what I'm excited about with the death thing. I'll lose weight. Now, this is all I'm telling you now is anecdotal. I have been at hundreds of deaths. Something happens. You can feel it. Now, again, I want to be careful. That's just anecdotal. Somebody who doesn't believe might say, well, I was there. I didn't feel anything. Okay. But I'm telling you, in my experience, you can feel their soul leave the room. When we were, this was 2015 when my mom was very close to death. We all converged on the house, okay? And we were kind of crowding her bed. Now, I wasn't, because there was an MSU football game on. I'm just going to be totally candid with you. The men folk were like near her bed, but watching MSU football, okay? And the women folk were on her, okay? Right around her bed. And I did point out lovingly, after a while, I said, guys, she's not going to die while we're here. She's not. I know that. Mom's just, I don't know how to explain it, okay? So my oldest sister kind of convinced us, okay, let's all go to bed. It was like midnight or close to it. So we all spread out on the floor around her, and we're sleeping. And I promise this is true. I fell straight asleep. Like that day, this is nuts, okay? That day, I drove to Notre Dame from Hudson, 2.5 hours, and I gave a talk to the National Catholic Educators Association. And then I drove back to Hudson, 2.5 hours, and I did a funeral. And then I drove 2.5 hours home to be with Mom. This boy was tired, okay? I laid down and immediately fell asleep. I promise this is true, okay? And all of a sudden, my oldest sister was with Mom, and she said, the second Mom took her last breath, she said, Joe, you just fired right up out of bed. I felt it, right? Sound asleep. And the only thing I can describe is I felt it. I felt her leave, okay? And I just fired right up out of bed. I knew that was it. And I looked over, and sure enough, she said, Mom just took her last breath. Okay? There is something to this, and we call that and again, I know it sounds funny because of how we use the word, but we call that our psychic unity. And we don't mean any of that stupid fortune-telling crap, okay? We don't mean witchcraft. We mean the mind or the soul, the psychic part. Gosh, see, again, we use psychic so badly. So how are we doing? Are we down for the invisible part of us? That's the psychic. Now we'll look at the somatic, okay? Somatic, that's our body. That's the physical. That's the part that touch. That's the, I don't know if that's a smell. Yeah, touch, smell, sense, the 17 senses. What you and I are is both body and soul. Now, this is misattributed, and I misattributed it. I didn't know, to C.S. Lewis. This quote is actually not from C.S. Lewis. It's from a philosopher named MacDonald, okay? And he had a farm, and did anybody find that as funny as me? Seriously? There was a philosopher named MacDonald, and he had a farm. And bingo, what's his name? Oh, it was a farmer, had a dog. No, it was, okay. It was still a good joke. Okay. So what did MacDonald say? He said, you don't have a soul. You are a soul. You have a body. Okay? And why would he say such a thing? Because right now, one of the most prevalent, unintentional errors we fall into as Christians, okay, as we pretend that the body is unimportant. That's a big problem, guys. A big problem. Your body is sacred, okay? That you and I were created as body-soul unities, okay? And we need to remember that, because a lot of people will reduce you to just a soul, if you'll excuse the phrase. And some people will reduce you to just a body. You're both, and you were made for both. And you will not find happiness only pursuing one. The human person is a body-soul unity, and your body was made for your soul, and it will go with you to heaven or the other place. I don't know if your body goes to hell. I never asked. I should look that up. What is the glue? What is the bridge between our body and soul? Are you ready? Because this one's nuts. I'm hoping this makes sense to you. This is one of those, when I read it, I went, oh my gosh, I understand a lot more about me now. Okay. The glue that holds together our body and soul is human emotion. Okay. Have you ever been like, I remember, what was it? 11th grade, I think. It might have been 10th. There was this girl I was just smitten with, okay? Now, I think she might have known I existed. I'm not entirely sure. The restraining order was my first hint. Just kidding. No, but I was totally smitten with this girl. And I'll never forget it. Every time she walked in the room, I felt it in my stomach. You got me? Oh, you're there. Okay, are you there? Do you know what I'm talking about? Where whatever this was, this love, which was the best love I had at that age, right? I felt it in my stomach. The emotion was so strong. The invisible human emotion was so strong that it affected my body. Have you ever felt so guilty that you got sick? Have you ever felt love so intense that your body shook? Have you ever, I'm super high strung, right? Super high strung. So I'm constantly being, scared, not scared is the wrong word, but like, and Carrie will tell you. Startled. Because I'm not scared. See how I squint? And I don't even look at explosions. But I'm one of those people, I live in my head, okay? There's a lot up there, and I'm always thinking about it, and when the outside world intrudes, I jump, right? Don't I? It's embarrassing, but what do you do? Okay? That's a psychosomatic unity. The feeling, oh dear, See that? Did you see that jump? Holy crap, that was not on purpose. Okay. That was a perfect example of what I'm talking about, that I'm not frightened. See, and I think you got to kind of put your teeth together too. That's key to the macho. Feels like an Arby's night. Got to support the team. You and I, as body-soul unities, recognize that the bridge and the glue between the two is our feelings. Our soul will speak to our bodies and express its discontent. Do you want to hear an example of it? Okay. You're hungry and you don't want to eat, right? It's this kind of weird restlessness. Nothing sounds good and I want to eat. I want to watch TV and nothing sounds good, but I want to watch TV. We catch ourselves in this perpetual little cycle. Do you ever have this phase? Do you know what I'm talking about? Or no, where like, you want to do something, but you don't want to do it. Right? And it's not moral or immoral. Not a moral situation, but just a situation where, well, I want to go out, but going out would involve going out.
Yes.
Yes. You there? Okay. That's your soul's restlessness expressing through your body. Seriously. Your soul's restless, man. It was made for heaven. This stuff drives it nuts. Now, do not think of it as a prisoner in your body. It's not. They're made for each other. But you and I spend so much time enslaved to the body that our soul's got to do some pretty crazy stuff to get our attention. Seriously. Crazy stuff. Yeah? Okay. So, ready for this? This is a St. John Paul II quote. I dig this. I hope you're ready. Are they ready? I don't know if you're ready.
Ready.
The project of being human is not primarily about overcoming sin. It consists in educating our feelings and forming them. Isn't that tight? The project of being human is not primarily about overcoming sin, but consists in educating our feelings and forming them. Okay? You and I have feelings, nothing more than feelings. Okay. And we can't help them. They come and they go. You have, at times, I would assume, if you're anything like me, Jesus help you, wildly inappropriate feelings. I was at a funeral of someone I loved, okay, and, okay, I'm going to hell for this, okay? I was at a funeral with someone I loved, and I'm sitting in front, because I'm a priest, See the squint? I'm looking directly at the sun. And the priest next to me, he doesn't know this person as well, but he's there because he's, he go to funerals. And this bug, like the size of a small country, just starts like walking across the floor, and he responds by stepping on it, and it crunched. Okay? So there's this quiet moment at a funeral, and and I could not stop giggling. Why? It's not like I'm like, my friend's dead. No, but I can't help it. It's a feeling. Something funny happened, and I laughed. Why? Because I'm 10. 12 now. I've grown up some. It crunched. I mean, it sounded like someone smashed a bag of Doritos. Our feelings come. Our feelings go. They're not good. They're not bad. They're just data. Okay? But when you and I take those feelings and not enslave ourselves to them, then we are acting like humans. Okay? So my dog, and I love this knucklehead, right? He can't do this. He will act on what he feels. If he feels it, he does it. Okay? This is why dogs do things in public that you and I don't do in public. Or if we do, we're probably in California. Was that funny? I just came up with that. No, right? I can't appeal to Marius's reason. He doesn't have any. All I can do is reward or punish. That's it. And it's not because he's a bad dog, although he is, but he's a bad dog because I don't discipline him. He's being a dog. He's actually being a good dog. He's good at being a dog. He's great at it. And that's why dogs can't sin. But that's why you and I can. When we have a feeling, we don't have to act on it. And when we don't have a feeling, we still might have to act. It still might be that we have to act. Does that make sense? Yeah? I can't read.
There's a lot of...
So for you and I love you too, Carrie. I think that's what she said. It'd be awesome if I look and it's like, Father Joe, we hate you. Die. Okay. Oh, thank you, Carrie. This is the key to being human, guys. This is everything. And it's so neglected because we do all kinds of weird stuff, right? First, we feel guilty about what we feel. Okay? You got to admit, that's kind of odd. It's not like you can feel different. Try it. Okay? 2, we'll pretend that because we feel it, it has value. Right? That's another mistake we make. We do all these little things instead of taking our feelings as what they are, a piece of data, and saying, what am I going to do with that? And what does St. John Paul II say? You have to, oh, wait, somebody says something. You don't know how bad I want someone to braid this. Is it Risa? What a lovely name. Is that your name? Risa? Or Risa? Risa's a planet on Star Trek, The Next Generation. That's a fact. Okay. This is the task. So what I'm describing, this idea of, okay, I have a feeling, I'm not going to enslave myself to it, I'm not going to feel guilty about it, I'm simply going to take it and I'm going to educate it. Okay? I'm going to educate it. Get this, ready? That's what being moral is. Isn't that nuts? St. John Paul II, that's what being moral is. He flat out says it. And by the way, he was Pope. Prince wrote a song about it. He didn't. I don't know when he wrote the song The Pope, but I suspect it wasn't about John Paul II. What's the lyrics? You can be the president, I'd rather be the Pope. You can be the side effect, I'd rather be the dope. That's a Prince song. What do you guys think? Do you think this is the first time Prince was quoted at a catechism class? Seriously, I mean, it's a pretty good chance. Yeah, like, one time when I was in Rome, this was just like 3 Octobers ago, I had 14 people with me, and they were family. And we had finished our tour of St. Pete's, right? I was doing the little tour. Hey, over here is this, over there is that. And I said, and this is a quote, and I hope this, I don't know. I'm 12. You just have to remember this. I said, and I quote, all right, you jackwagons, let's wrap this up and get a beer. And then it hit me. That church is 1,400 years old. Right? Millions of people every year. And it might be the first time anyone said that. All right, you jackwagons, let's grab a beer. I don't know. I mean, those exact words. I'm sure people said something similar. Okay. So what we want to do is start thinking about this, okay? Because this is epic. And here's what I love, okay? St. John Paul II said it best, and I can't wait. Write this down. Okay, seriously. There is no one thing I've ever read that helped me more than this. Truly. Ready? Are you ready, Kara? I will act like I wish I felt. I will act like I wish I felt. St. John Paul II flat out said, if you can live by that through the power of the Holy Spirit, a human can't do it alone, then you'll be a saint. He literally said that. You will be a saint. I will act like I wish I felt. Because what you and I are always aware of is how we feel. We can't help it. But I know how I feel, always. I don't have to ask me, okay? I don't have to say, I wonder how I feel right now. Like right now, what do I feel? I'm nervous about today. It's a very full day, lots of meetings, and I hate meetings. With the intensity of 1,000 white suns, I hate meetings. Do you know what it's like to say to an ADHD person, hey, sit still for the next hour and a half? and do that a lot. I can't do it. So I know I feel that. I know I feel that, and then I'm feeling, like the best moment of my life is when the last meeting's done. Truly. I would rather be hung by my feet and beat with wet fish than go to meetings. If you ever see me at a meeting and I'm smiling, I'm acting like I wished I felt. I work with a lot of people, right? Through my 22 years as a priest and many years before that. And you know what does more damage than anything, I think? Is when we inflict how we feel on a group. Yeah. Depending on what we are feeling. If you feel joy, yeah, inflict that puppy like a crazy person. But you've worked with this person, right? Who can walk in a room and absolutely crush the spirit in there without saying a word. Their darkness or their anger or their sorrow is so clear that the whole room feels this invisible thing. You been there? I've done it. You've done it. We've inflicted our darkness. We've taken what we felt, and instead of evaluating it, teaching it, educating it, giving it to our Lord, and acting like we wish we felt. And I hope this is okay to say. This is a challenge I always offered parents at Lansing Catholic. And I don't know if anyone listened to me, right? I really don't. I said to parents, I was blessed to not know when my mom and dad were scared, right? I was blessed to not know when my mom and dad were worried. And one of the things I think our parents are losing, and this is just my sense of things, we don't protect our kids from our emotions. If you ask the Lansing Catholic kids, and I think I can stand by this, for 10 years, I think they would tell you, no, he was never in a bad mood. I can't tell you how many kids wrote me that. You're just always happy. No, I'm not. There are days where I feel like I'm going to die, right? How about you? But if you enslave yourself to it, what have you done? You've acted like a dog, right? And, I like dogs. But I don't like when humans are. What we feel is an invitation. Whatever we are feeling is an invitation. And we can accept the invitation, or we can say, no, thank you. This is not denial. Okay? This is not denial. I always thought, some of my kids, I love you freaks. I always thought, people, this would drive me nuts. Whenever I would teach this, somebody would say, well, you got to be authentic. No, you don't. Because authentically, I'm going to hell. Truly. Right? If I'm authentic me, I go to hell. You don't need that crap in your life. You don't need my authenticity about how I feel. Good Lord. What you need is my best. And my best is only possible with Him. That's it. That's it. This is a gift we can give ourselves. This is a gift we can give our Lord. This is a gift we can give our community. We got to start acting like humans. What's different about me than my dog? What's different about me than the rest of creation? I can take what I feel and think about it and respond to it appropriately. I can act like I wish I felt. So what do I do with those dark feelings? What do I do? Well, you take them to the appropriate people. I don't mean you just swallow it. I pray with my confessor every other week, even when I don't sin. I couldn't even get that out. Okay, I couldn't even get that out. I pray with my confessor. I take what I feel and I give it to the Lord. This morning, truly, I don't mean to overstate it. I think I shared with you guys a couple days ago that one of the things I'm fighting for the last few weeks has been, I sit down to pray and all I think about is a couple different scenarios, right? Things from my past where I really felt hurt. And what's crazy is, by the way, yesterday, this is wow, okay? For me at least. Boy, how to tell this whole story. I'll tell you the short version. My sister had a letter that I wrote her in 2012 at one of the worst moments of my life. Okay? Gosh, I'm trying to think how to tell this quick without giving too much different. I was lied to, I was lied about, and I was driven away. Okay? And there I found myself quite shocked at how effectively I was defeated before I even knew I was in a battle. Okay? And it was awful. And right at that time, my mom and dad had a car accident that absolutely changed every bit of reality we had. Okay? It was the worst time in my life. And at some point during that, I wrote my sister a letter, and she kept it, and she gave it back to me yesterday. Okay? Because a lot of the evil that was inflicted on me in 2012 was exposed last year. I don't want to say it was vindicated because there's just a lot still not known. But people who judged me harshly and falsely knew the truth. Is this making sense? Okay. And I don't say that, don't pour me, please. I'm happy. I'm so blessed. But in that letter, I told them this morning, this is what I wrote her. I took all my dark things that I'm feeling, and I cried, and I just gave them to the Lord. I remember, I walked 5 miles that day. 5 miles, just bawling and saying to God, I don't know how I'm going to make this. I opened my Bible to a psalm, and this is what I wrote her, was this psalm that says, the good man need only be patient. The righteous man need only wait. Hey, holy cow. And there it was. What was that? 8 years later, I just had to be patient. I hope I'm making sense. Because, man, what I'm not telling you is what's defining, frankly. Okay? How cool is that? So I didn't deny what I felt, but I also didn't puke it on everybody I met. I tried, as a broken, sinful person, to give it to the Lord. And still today it comes up in my head. That scenario will, right? Just pops up. Oh, you know what I mean? Oh, okay, Lord, that's yours. I can't help that it popped up. I didn't want it there. I don't want it there. But it is. Okay, Lord, here it goes. I'm not judging it. Well, I do. I'm awful at this, by the way. I would love to talk to you about the stuff I've got down, but that would take about a minute. And it would mostly be about the Tigers. I take what I feel to the classroom of my mind. I give it to the Lord. And I act like I wish I felt. And by doing this, I am addressing body and soul. Okay, I'm addressing body and soul. This, for you and me, is the task of being moral. To recognize that the project of being human, in the words of St. John Paul II, is not primarily about overcoming sin, but in educating and disciplining my feelings, forming them. Okay? Now I'm going to read you something, Bishop Morlino. I almost said Saint Morlino. I don't know. You know, I'd like it because then I could say, yeah, I took a saint out for steak. I did. I took him out for steak once, but he bought because I was a seminarian. I had like $3, so I can buy you half a burger, you know. This is what he said, and I wrote this down in 1994. Quote, our goal is that as the process of educating and disciplining our feelings becomes more and more a part of us, we become more like Christ, okay? Holding nothing back, giving of ourselves, and counting my own feelings as nothing. Isn't that cool? And he did this once, like when he was made bishop in Helena, Montana. You know, it's funny, when I brought up Montana, I did squint. I think that might be a cowboy thing. Helena, Montana. And again, I'm noticing the teeth is kind of a key part, isn't it? You got to, Helena, Montana. What were we talking about? Oh, So he arrived at his diocese, and he asked me to come out and help. So I flew out to Montana, and I spent, I don't know, it felt like a long time. I can't remember how long. But I was there just helping him settle in, running around, getting a sense of his parishes for him, and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be vague because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, okay? At one point, I walked with him into a meeting with a group of religious people. And for those of you who've worked in the church, you know, and I love our tribe, but religious people are the worst. Right? Right. The reason you and I are in church is because we know we're a mess. Okay? That's what I always try to explain to my non-churchy friends, okay? It's like, you think we got it together? No, we're all here because we know we're train wrecks. And you put, you know, in this case, 3,000 families of train wrecks in a building, things are going to happen. So anyway, we walk into this meeting, and these people, he barely got his name out. And they just shredded him. You're a ultra-conservative, reactionary, blah, 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 blah. Okay? And they knew that because they read it somewhere. None of them had met him. And to be honest, he was a lot more traditional than most. But I felt my 29-year-old self. I think I was 29, 30. I was maybe 30. And in those days, I was always ready for a good scrap. Right? And I was about to rip these people to pieces. And he knew me, put his hand on my shoulder, and did this face. I could do it perfectly. I don't mean to brag. That's his face. Ready? And he let him rip him to pieces. An hour. I'm not kidding. I had to leave at one point. I was getting so defensive of him and so angry. So I went out. It's a true story. I just told him, bro, I'm in the car. Because I was going to kill and eat someone. And you shouldn't do that. That's a sin. Write that down. So I go sit in the car, and he walks out and gets in the car. And I said, all right, what are we going to do? He goes, I'm making him dinner. This is true. I'm like, what? Okay, so what he did, and I was there for it. A week later, these 11, 12 mean people who hated him before they met him, he made them dinner. And he didn't like have a cook make the dinner. He made the dinner. He served their plates, and then he got a bowl, got him in a cry, and a towel, and said, I want to wash your feet. That's acting like you wish you felt. Was he hurt? Yeah, we talked about it a long time. Was he angry? More hurt. But there was anger in there. He was a scrapper too. So how did he act? Did he act like he felt? No. He acted like he wished he felt. How tight is that? What am I seeing? I see all caps. All caps is never a good sign. What?
They want examples on feelings.
Did I just do that? Is that an example? I think. How's this? Oh, God, I hope this is okay to say. Okay. You know I love being a priest. Do I need to say more? Okay, there are days. So I act a ton more extroverted than I am. Okay, and I learned because that's what people need. But if you left me to my vices, I'm not exaggerating, I would never be in a crowd again in my life. I get invitations, guys, every week. Go to this place and give a talk. I don't for two reasons. One, I should do my job. Two, there's going to be humans there. A lot of them. And if people like what you say, they want more. Is this okay to say? Mm-hmm. If I acted like I felt, I would be that priest who walks into Mass, head down, and just goes right into the sacristy and gets my stuff and bangs out Mass. Because that's what I feel. After Mass, oh my gosh, what's the hardest thing? After Mass. People, what's the hardest part of being a priest? One of them's after Mass. Because there's people all around you, and again, crowds freak me out. That's all. There's nothing against anybody. It's just when people are physically close to me, I clench up and I get scared. You see me at Mass. If you see me, I shake and I sweat. Why? Because I know afterward, there's going to be a whole ton of people. Okay. Now, my sister Lori gave me some great advice that helps me. What do you say? Oh, so there's Lori. Okay, so this is what Lori told me. I told her, I can't tell you how hard this is. And she said, don't be in the crowd. Be with the person in front of you. Isn't that gorgeous? She told me this like in 05. And that's helped me more than you can know. So that when the crowd is coming, I try not to look at the crowd. I look at who's in front of me. Hello. God bless you. And I smile. Not because I feel happy, but because I got joy. I'm learning to act like I wish I felt. And you know what happens, truly? You begin to feel that way. You do. It's just how it works. God is generous. And when you make sure your feelings know they are not the master, they will get in line. Your feelings will. I guarantee it. And if you don't believe me, ask anyone married over 5 years. Right? They're not walking around all the time with this glow in their heart. Right? See this? That's the glow. I just did that. But they have a commitment. They're not acting how they feel. They're acting how they wish they felt. I'm a lot more serious than you would think. I am. This is how I wish I felt. So it's what we got. It's liberating to not be enslaved to something you can't control. I can't control what I feel. Why would I ever enslave myself to it? You were made to be free. Plato talked about this in his book, The Republic, and he was before Jesus. Before Jesus' birth. I mean, Jesus is, I'm going to drink some coffee. So, last Bob Morlino quote on this topic, right? Oops, don't be sad. Who's sad? Oh, that's not sad. It's good for me. It would be bad for me to be enslaved to my feeling, right? And there's days, if you're a Holy Family or St. Mark parishioner, there's days I leave right after Mass. Seriously, because those are days where I went, yep, can't do it today. So I just bug out and nobody yells at me. It's awesome. First parish where people don't yell at me for sometimes just getting out of there. When I can't do it, I won't. But when it's just a matter of challenging myself, I'm always better for it, right? Don't, come Holy Spirit, give me a sec. Well, okay, I love this. Ready? Think of the weight room. Can you imagine? I think I just talked about this, didn't I? If I gave you a 5-pound bar and said, lift this every day. All right. Okay. But what if I gave you 5 pounds on Monday and then 10 on Tuesday? And then we just keep adding weight. What you'll find is eventually your ability to lift it will increase. This is where your body and your soul are similar. They only grow through pain. Okay, there's no other way. We're in a broken world. Okay? We're in a broken world. So there's literally no other way to grow. And this is where, again, a message for our parents. I hope you hear this with great love. This is why trying to protect your child from every suffering is one of the worst things you can possibly do for them. Protect them, of course. And I hope I don't need to go through that. But when it's, well, this unjust thing happened, maybe instead of running and trying to fix it, you can say, son, there are people, or daughter, there are people who live with worse injustice every day, right? And I want you to take this feeling you have and pray for them. Okay? I hope we're, am I making sense? Let me see. Yes. And you call me Spirit too? Okay, good. Well, Rick, great. I honestly don't know another way to grow, right? But that's, someone's health issues might be affected. Yeah, to be clear, we're not, I hope you know, if you're struggling with clinical depression, oh my gosh, that's totally different. Right? Depression, for those of you who struggle with depression, you know what I'm talking about. That's not a feeling. That's something else entirely. The rules change there, right? In the same way that you don't ask a guy with a broken leg to run or to just wait. It'll get better, right? We don't say that to people with broken legs. Why would we say it to ourselves when our mind isn't working like it should? I hope that's clear. I do. That's really important. If we're struggling with clinical depression and you try to act like you wish you feel, it won't work, right? It won't, and it shouldn't. And there's no sin in struggling with depression. You can't help it. Again, can you imagine if you break your leg and you're like, oh, I should go to confession for breaking my leg? If you broke it in a way that merits, if you broke it like kicking in a door to rob a bank, yeah, that's your own dang fault. I took the example too far. Oh my gosh, it's after 1, you guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, so we'll stop now, and we'll pick this up. What is this day?
Wednesday.
This is Wednesday? Okay, we'll pick this up Thursday, okay? Let me see. Oh, yeah, we got plenty for tomorrow, okay? So tomorrow we're going to look at this line, okay? I pray for this grace. This is from St. John Paul II. I pray for the grace to educate my feelings and make my own efforts to love the cross. Okay, so we're going to talk about that tomorrow, and we're going to see how can this help me become holy. Okay, how can this help me become holy? Because it might seem like a purely human exercise, and I pray you never take that away from me. If you take that from what I've said it wrong. It's all about God, right? This is crazy to say. To be human, you need to be dependent on God. That's part of that's our spiritual DNA. If you try to do this on willpower, you'll either become a controlling, bitter person or you'll just give up, right? Okay, do I need to say all that? Yeah, probably, can't hurt. So I will see you tomorrow. I'm so excited. We'll say a prayer. Hold on. I saw a please. Father Joe, no? Oh, okay, I thought I saw a please. So what we'll do is we'll review this tomorrow, and then we'll, finish it up. Oh my gosh, Chris is there. Hey, I love you too, man. And guys, don't forget to pray for Chris. He's a state trooper. He keeps us and God's people safe. Everybody safe. And I'm so proud to be his friend. So is this from Theology of the Body? No, sorry. Or if it is, I didn't know that. This is from St. John Paul II's book, The Acting Human. Okay? And if I hope this doesn't sound awful to say, don't try to read it. It's brutal. Okay, it really is. I'm not kidding. Even God, like I told people, the reason St. John Paul II is a saint is because God needed to get him to heaven so he could explain to God what the heck he was talking about. You guys ready to pray? All right, so don't forget. Oh, real quick reminder. I'm so sorry I'm going over. Please share these with everyone, okay? Except the people that you hate, because I don't like them either. Chris, in fact, next time, my boy Chris clocked someone, I think, at 132 miles an hour the other day. I'm dead serious. Is that right, Chris, if you're still there? He could say instead of a ticket, you have to listen to this crap. You know, that might work. It'll save them insurance money. So don't forget, on Friday, I will be at Lansing Brewing doing the show from inside the brewery. We can't open it to the public, okay? We can't open it to the Republic. I almost said, we cannot open this to the Republic. But if you want to pre-order my beer so that when you get there Friday, it's waiting for you, you really want to get to their Facebook page and do it. They are under 300 cans left. Okay. They said last night just blew up the pre-orders. So get after that. And then I'll be there. And will my shirt be there?
Yes.
Oh, hey guys, you saw 138. Look, my brother Chris clocked some cat at 138. Okay, so if you look at my shirt, it's right there, right? Joe in black. You can buy these there at the Thinger. One of you can braid my beard. No, they can't. We got to keep that. Unless you have 6-foot arms. You guys ready to pray? I am out of control. Sorry. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Jesus, thank you for your beautiful children who hunger to know you. Thank you that I get to be here with them. Thank you for Bishop Morlino. Thank you for John Paul II. Help us to be good humans. That's how you made us to be. A good human's a holy human, and that's what we want, because that's what you made us for. So be with us, as we said about the task of, by the power of your Holy Spirit, educating and forming our emotions so that we act like we wish we felt. Lord, you see our hearts. There's a lot we are worried about, and we give it all to you with great trust. We love you, Lord, and we trust you. Amen. And may Almighty God bless you guys, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Bless you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Props to my peeps in the hood. I don't even know what that means.